The basement door creaked open like a confession I never wanted to hear. And there he was, my boss, Charles Harlan, elbow deep in my unpacked boxes, his tie loosened like a noose half-tied. Rain hammered the windows above, drowning out the laughter from my housewarming party. But nothing could muffle the sick thud of my heart when I saw the company logo stamped on the gadgets he was rifling through. "What the hell are you doing?" I whispered, my voice cracking like thunder, because in that split second, I realized the man who'd mentored me for 2 years wasn't just stealing inventory. He was stealing the fragile trust I'd built my new life on. I'd always prided myself on reading people, especially in a city like Seattle where the tech boom chews up dreamers and spits out cynics. At 28, fresh off a promotion at Harlan Dynamics, a mid-sized firm peddling smart home devices, I'd finally scraped together enough for this craftsman bungalow in Capitol Hill. It wasn't much. Creaky hardwood floors, a kitchen that smelled like someone else's bad takeout history, and a backyard big enough for barbecues if I ever learned to grill without setting off the smoke alarm. But it was mine. A stake in the ground after years of crashing on friends' couches and dodging my family's side eye about settling down. The housewarming was my declaration of independence. 50 invites to colleagues, neighbors, and that one barista who always drew hearts in my latte foam. I wanted it to feel like home, not just a party, but a bridge from the kid who'd fled small-town Ohio to the man I was becoming. Out, ambitious, and maybe, just maybe, ready for something real. Thomas showed up early, as he always did, with a six-pack of craft IPAs and that lopsided grin that made my stomach flip like a poorly coded app. We'd met 6 months ago at a team-building retreat in the Cascades. Me, the wide-eyed junior developer. Him, the sharp-tongued sales lead with eyes like smoked quartz and a laugh that cut through boardroom bullshit. He was 32, openly gay in a way that felt effortless, like he'd never once apologized for it. "Nice digs, Alex," he said, handing over the beers as he kicked off his boots in the foyer. "Though if this is your idea of adulting, I'm stealing your Netflix password." I punched his arm lightly, heat creeping up my neck, because Thomas had this way of making every room feel smaller, warmer. Like the air between us hummed with unspoken code. The party swelled by dusk. Co-workers in ironic graphic tees, neighbors with potluck casseroles that could double as doorstops, and a playlist heavy on indie folk that masked the fact I still hadn't hung curtains. Charles arrived fashionably late, which was code for after the good whiskey ran dry. He was the king of Harlan Dynamics, Silver Fox handsome at 52, with a Harvard drawl that made investors open their wallets and a reputation for tough love that left half the staff nursing grudges. He'd pulled me aside after my first quarter, clapping a hand on my shoulder. "Kid, you've got fire. Don't let this town drown it." I'd idolized him for it, saw him as the mentor who'd validate my corner of the world, one where being gay didn't mean sidelining your hustle. As the night blurred into tipsy confessions and a conga line through my living room, Thomas cornered me by the snack table. "You look good tonight," he murmured, his fingers brushing mine as he passed a chip. "Like you've got roots here now." My pulse raced. We'd danced around this for weeks. Late-night texts about bad movies, coffee runs that stretched into afternoons, but neither of us had crossed the line. "Yeah," I shot back, emboldened by the buzz. "Think you could stick around and help water them?" His eyes softened, and for a heartbeat, the party faded. He leaned in, breath warm against my ear. "I'd like that. A lot." That's when the storm hit, literal and otherwise. Sheets of Pacific Northwest rain lashed the house, turning the backyard into a mud pit and chasing folks indoors. I played host, refilling drinks, dodging questions about my mysterious single status from nosy aunts of friends. Charles hovered on the edges, nursing a scotch, his gaze lingering a beat too long on the gadgets I'd proudly displayed on my mantel. Prototypes from work, perks of the job I'd lugged home to test over the weekend. "Impressive haul, Alex," he'd said earlier, toasting me. "Shows initiative." By midnight, the crowd thinned to stragglers. Thomas sprawled on the couch, debating craft beer merits with a neighbor. A few devs nursing hangovers in the kitchen. I slipped downstairs to grab extra blankets. The basement a maze of cardboard tombs from the move. That's when I heard it. The rustle, like mice in the walls, but heavier. Footsteps. I froze at the base of the stairs, phone flashlight cutting through the gloom. And there, Silhouetted against the washer-dryer was Charles, crouched over a box labeled Harlan Samples. His phone beam danced across serial numbers, fingers prying open seals on speakers and sensors that weren't mine to keep. Inventory. Company property I'd borrowed, sure, but cataloged, returnable. He was scanning them, pocketing a drive, evidence, maybe, for some audit I'd never heard about. My mind reeled. Was this a spot check? A setup? Charles, the man who'd preached ethics in every all hands, now burgling my basement like a B-movie villain? Betrayal hit like a cold front. Sharp, disorienting. I'd trusted him with my career, my vulnerabilities. The coming-out story I'd shared over drinks, the fears of glass ceilings for guys like us. And now this? I lunged forward, grabbing his arm. Charles, what the? He jerked back, face paling under the light, Scotch glass tumbling to shatter on concrete. Alex, Jesus, you scared me. His voice was steady, too steady, like he'd rehearsed this. Just, inventory audit, off books, can't trust the logs anymore. Lies, I spat, chest heaving. Rain thundered above, a roar that matched the storm in my veins. At my party? In my house? You think I'm skimming? After everything? His eyes, those piercing blue ones that commanded boardrooms, flickered with something raw. Not anger. Shame? It's not you, kid. It's the higher-ups. Corporates breathing down my neck. Missing units, falsified reports. I promoted you fast because I saw myself in you. Hungry, overlooked. But if they find out I've been bending rules to keep us afloat. He trailed off, slumping against a shelf. The air thickened, confessions spilling like the rain outside. I should have called security, HR, anyone. But standing there, amid the detritus of my new life, I saw him. Not the boss, but Charles. A man twice my age, divorced twice, who'd whispered once about his own hidden youth in the 80s, when love like mine could have gotten you disowned or worse. I covered for you last month, he admitted, voice breaking. That glitch in the prototype? Yours. I signed off as mine. Because I believe in you, Alex. More than you know. The door banged open upstairs. Thomas, calling my name, his voice laced with worry. Footsteps descended. And there he was, taking in the scene. Shards of glass, our frozen standoff. Alex? What's going on? Thomas's hand found my shoulder, grounding me, his touch a lifeline in the chaos. Charles straightened, wiping his face. Tell him, Alex, or don't. But this? It ends here. He gestured to the box. Take it back Monday. I'll handle the fallout. I stared, the weight of it crashing down. Betrayal, yes, but layered with his own. A leader cornered, protecting his team by any means, even dirty ones. In that moment, fury ebbed into pity, then something fiercer. Understanding. I chased approval my whole life, from Ohio pews to Seattle startups, molding myself to fit. Charles had done the same, building an empire on half-truths to shield misfits like us. Go, I said finally, voice low, but we're not done talking. He nodded, slipping past Thomas with a murmured sorry, vanishing into the night like a ghost in the downpour. Thomas pulled me close then, his arms a harbor against the chill seeping from the floor. You okay? He whispered, lips brushing my temple. I nodded, though tears stung. Relief, rage, release. Yeah, just realized leadership isn't about being unbreakable. It's about breaking right together. The next week blurred. Monday's tense handover, where Charles resigned before the board could pounce, citing personal reasons. Whispers rippled through Harlan Dynamics. Embezzlement rumors, a scapegoat shuffle. But he walked with his head high, cashing out quietly. I stepped up, interim lead on my team, Thomas at my side not just as colleague but partner. Our first real date, a rainy hike where we traded stories of hidden hearts. Months later, over coffee in my now curtained kitchen, Charles dropped by unannounced, thinner, grayer, but with that old spark. Heard you're killing it, he said, sliding a book across the table. The Art of the Long View, dog-eared. Leadership's not control, Alex. It's vulnerability. Owning your messes so others don't have to. I flipped it open, finding his note. To the kid who caught me. Thanks for the lesson. We talked for hours. His regrets, my triumphs. the quiet ache of loving in shadows. No apologies, just truth. As he left, hugging me fierce in the doorway, I saw the humanism in it all. Forgiveness not as weakness, but as the boldest code of all. Thomas found me later, curled on the couch. "You let him off easy," he said, lacing fingers with mine. "Maybe," I replied, pulling him close, "or maybe I learned we're all just inventory. Flawed, borrowed, worth checking twice." Outside, Seattle's perpetual drizzle softened to mist, washing clean the night that changed everything. In the end, home wasn't the house or the job. It was this, us, messy and real, leading each other through the storm.